Welcome to the small corner here on the internet. My name is the Game Stooge, the Animated Man. Originally, I was going to make a DayZ episode, but instead we're going to ad-lib over the story because my audio completely messed up from my captured software. So here we go. Buckle up. Yay. So I spawned into DayZ. The DayZ Mod in Arma. I was going to meet up with my friend KDive, who happened to be on the other side of the map. And this is what you see currently on screen, is me trying to figure out how to get to him. But guess what I do? I spawn in a bike. Come to find out you could do that. Thank you, KDive, for explaining to me how to spawn in a bicycle and traverse the map. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm going into the inventory, trying to figure out this. Apparently, you have to deploy the bicycle. It comes in a box like you see right here. Yeah, I'm a bit surprised too. But I think the cool thing about like the DayZ mod, or just like DayZ in general, is like the environment and like the landscapes and just all the cool ambient sound effects and Foley sounds. All that together creates like a really cool experience. But here I am traversing the woods, trying to find a trail. I found one, surprisingly, but this is the beginning of a what I could call the best DayZ road trip, okay, in Arma Reforger. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's continue on our story here. So our objective was to meet up with KDive and to scavenge on our way to collect supplies such as water, canned beans, and some firearms. If you're a DayZ player, you know how difficult finding these resources can be. Sometimes you're finding an abundance of water, food, and some firearms, and other times you find nothing but sticks, and that's about it. And you're starving, and you're on the brink of death. That is pretty much DayZ in a nutshell. I started traversing down this trail in hopes of finding a village, and come to find out, I got pretty lucky because I crossed this little meadow here, and I landed on a little village. I thought you could pick cabbage, but according to DayZ, you can. So I wandered into these buildings, hoping to scavenge for some loot. But, you know, DayZ being DayZ, there was absolutely nothing of value inside of these buildings. So I headed into the next available building that I could see, and there was a player in there. Now, if you're a DayZ player, everybody is typically on edge, but lucky for me, he was a friendly player, and we just started having a conversation, but the bayonet in his hand was kind of off-putting. However, we had a little friendship going, to say the least. You know what friends do in DayZ? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we go looting together. And hang on, okay? There is never a moment in my mind when I'm playing DayZ and I'm teaming up with somebody and asking myself, is he gonna kill me, or am I eventually gonna go kill him? Okay, that's just the nature of how this game works. You really can't trust anybody, even if you make friends like I just did. However, I decided to loot a different house than him. Come to find out there was another player in there. And my buddy was outside. I thought he was friendly, but it turns out he's just a British gangster with a shank, and he killed me. And that ended that journey. So we started up again. We deployed my bike, and I tried to... Oh, who's this guy? Yes, again, we find another player. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, he's on a bike. I don't know where he came from. This was not a scripted moment, okay? But look at his bike. It's rolling away on him. Look, he was so excited to see me that thing has started rolling away. Lucky for him, he caught his bike before it tumbled down the hill. But another player, another conversation, and another DayZ friendship for us, ladies and gentlemen. After that conversation, we decided to part ways, and I went down this trail to continue on the greatest DayZ journey that has ever taken place in the universe of the DayZ mod, yes. Let's segue away from the random survivor in the woods and carry on with the greatest DayZ adventure mod road trip that has ever taken place in the history of this game, okay? So I decided on my way to meet KDive to do a little sightseeing tour because, I mean, this game itself looks gorgeous. But on my way, I stumbled upon a large hill I wanted to bomb with my rusty bike to see how fast I can go without crashing. I mean, that's fun, isn't it? After that hill bombing incident, I traversed the road some more and began hearing what would end up being a little bird. Yes, an aircraft in an apocalypse is a whole nother tax bracket I don't even know what it's like to be in. I tried shouting at them, but they wanted nothing to do with a peasant on a rusty bike. After that attempt of trying to ride with the cool kids, I carried on down the road some more. And I stumbled into the little bird once again, and a player-made base, but I paid no attention to the structure. My focus was obviously on the aircraft hovering in the sky. I began asking myself if the server crashed because they were sitting in a vulnerable spot just hovering above this one spot, or could I steal their aircraft like a little DayZ rat? Come to find out, they were actually landing inside of a safe zone, so I decided to walk right in and be nosy. So I stumbled into the safe zone and I attempted to talk to a player with military gear on, thinking, hey, he might know something because he looked like he knew a thing or two with all that sophisticated gear on. Turns out, he just succumbed to the DayZ brain rot and couldn't get out a coherent sentence, so what better thing to do on the best DayZ road trip that has ever taken place is to attempt to steal the aircraft on my own. Thanks to my buddy K-Dive, he relayed some important information about the vehicles while I was in the safe zone. You see, in the mod, as of right now, you can enter any vehicle you like. There is no locking mod, so it is free game for anyone. You could see something you like, you can take it, as long as no one is in the driver's seat, but unfortunately for me, what we could call them is the Discord gamers who happen to be in the driver's seat or the pilot seat of this little bird, and I was unable to convince them or get a lift at all. So it was time to hit the road again on my trusty rusty bicycle. I ended up doing a little bit more sightseeing on my way to K-Dive's location after unsuccessfully trying to rob or steal an aircraft in an apocalypse. I know it would have been cool to see, but I decided to stop in this quaint, quiet town to potentially find some valuable loot instead. But I was met with an on-edged gamer who happened to be aiming an AK straight at my forehead, because in DayZ you have about 2 decisions you have to make when interacting with someone. 1, you decide that teaming up is the best option, or 2, you blow them away and steal everything for personal gain. Lucky for me, he was actually more focused on the zombies than trying to steal my loot. So after that interaction, I looked on my map and I noticed I was pretty close to my buddy's location. So after noticing how close I was getting to my buddy K-Dive's location, I hopped on my trusty rusty bicycle and began what would be an eventful last leg of the journey. I thought to myself, forget the roads, we don't need those anymore. We could save some time by traversing the woods. Little did I know, it would result in me tumbling over a bunch of rocks and causing blunt force trauma to my character's brain. You know, when you severely injure yourself in this game, your next thought should be, oh, let's do it all over again and smash right into this tree. So after my character is suffering from these injuries, I get right back up onto my bicycle and carry on with a severe headache as if I just didn't smash my head straight into planet Earth. I was now closing in on my buddy's position after this whole injury situation at a nearby military base. But all good stories come to an end. Fortunately for me, it wasn't my story ending, it was K-Dive's. Of course, someone dies when we're about to finally team up. This is how video games and all these survival games go, typically. But lucky for me, he had a ton of loot he stated that I could take under one condition. In case you're wondering, he died from getting slapped by a zombie. I know, what a lame death. Yeah, he told me to take some loot back to his stash, but I don't have to put all of it back. So, you know, it worked out. Let's segue into the last section of this story. However, before we did all that, I found out that K-Dive previously was communicating with another survivor on a radio that he had on him, and I tried to convince the other guy on the other side to purchase some health insurance I was trying to sell him. I mean, who doesn't want to buy some health insurance during the apocalypse? I mean, it is prime buying season. My character was dressed like he was selling insurance, so I thought it was fitting. Eventually, I ended up heading over to my buddy's stash, in which I will not give the location away because I'm a DayZ rat and I know how DayZ rats operate. And I started putting things away, just like this epic DayZ road trip. If you did enjoy this one-off episode, join me next time. With that being said, I am signing off.